Welcome, folks, to Tuesday at 7. It's already March 2021. We're coming out of a pandemic. Those folks who are watching live or watching this next week already know that, but there's people going to be watching this for the next few years. So it gives us the opportunity to be face-to-face as things are opening up for the first time. Yeah, being isolated. Isolated, it sucks for the show and for us. But those of you who are regulars at Tuesday at 7, we gather creatives. We try to gather folks together at least 1 hour each week. Tuesday at 7 Eastern Standard Time, although we have people watching from other areas as well. So this is just the show. It's completely free form. It's improv. We gather once a week and we interview folks that do different things.
That sounds like what we do, almost, right? We do different things, but we gather like once a week, improv. We don't script anything. It's kind of a bunch of buddies, and we have a good old time. And with the fans, if you talk about the fans, we really miss the fans. We used to go to all the live events, the conventions. We'd have live events, make appearances at places, and just have those fans come and talk to us and meet them, and they mean a lot to us. And it's like, man, I haven't seen like a lot of our fans in so long. We still see them on Facebook, or they'll call and leave a message on our hotline. But it's like that face-to-face interaction. It's part of our show. It's part of what we are.
That's one of the biggest things that I miss since this pandemic was the conventions, the Ghilardi Fest.
Yeah.
The horror conventions that would come around that we would be a part of. We'd have a table. We'd have we'd film people.
Wasteland, Monster-ish.
Just getting out there and just seeing the familiar faces every convention.
Gotcha. So as people are signing on, if you guys have your phones,
I do,
as you pull it up, if you want to share it to the Midnight Movie group, if you want to share it out to anybody else, and for those folks who are sharing as well, if you share this video and within the next week we're going to draw 3 names for Midnight Movie memorabilia and some goodies. Some goodies. Well, you want to reveal what those goodies are?
Yeah, we got a nice little package here. I think it's nice. It's our skit DVD that we have that we did a couple years ago. It has some of our skits that we do, kind of like the Big Chuck and Little John skits and stuff like that. We have our own skits that we do on the show. Also, some of our interviews with some celebrities, and there's some cool footage on here. It's when the Ghoul came down to our show, and he's playing with a boom boom. So we have some cool Ghoul footage on there. And we're gonna toss in one of our very exciting Midnight Movie buttons. So if you see that, there you go. Wear that, and we'll definitely know that you're a Midnight Movie maniac.
Yeah.
Going to enclose one of our cool little cling decals. Yes, cling decal like that. Put wherever you want it. Stick it. It's removable. You can stick it on him. I'll take it off. And also, you won't like this, but we're going to also send an autographed postcard too. So that use the slide under a door or something like that. I don't know, but so we have 3 packages like that, and we'd be glad to get you one. Just share this, right? So all you gotta do is share it and get a chance to.
All you gotta do is share. We'll put your name in the hat. For those of you who were with us last week, we had many shares, but we have the giveaway this week from last week's interview. We interviewed Jason Woods, and Jason Woods is an Akron boy who's now an LA movie director. Cool. And he's coming back to Ohio, and in this next year he's shooting a movie called Copley Road. It's a horror anthology, which he's using mostly Ohio people to shoot this movie. Sweet. And so we interviewed him last week. He's got a great story. But Jason gave one of his first short films that made it to the big screen was called DUI, and it's a horror film about a horror short about some folks who get arrested. Drinking a little bit, they get put in the back of the squad car of a policeman who goes berserk.
Oh man!
And it is a great one.
I have to look it up.
Yeah.
DUI by Jason Woods. I forgot his production company, Stealth Wing Productions, I believe. So if you go to YouTube, look up DUI Jason Woods, just like it sounds, and then Stealth Wing Productions. Maybe Jason, I know that you'll watch this. If somebody could even just tag that YouTube channel or that YouTube video right here, folks can click into it and watch that short as well.
Oh, cool.
But last week, we brought some Sharpies. So maybe you guys can, you guys will send those DVDs too?
That's good, because we can be pretty dull sometimes.
Yeah.
He's on my prison.
There's a reason why he's on the other couch.
Yeah.
So
it is Stealth Wing Productions.
Stealth Wing Productions, perfect. So we're going to draw a name. Rich, if you just pull one thing here, it's going to be...
No, don't let him read it. Don't let him read it. Don't let him read it.
We got a story.
All right, so we won't let Rich read it, and we'll come back to that story. But the winner is
Upside down.
Upside down.
Paul Tylicki.
Paul Tylicki. Excellent haunted house that he just closed up this past year, right?
Yeah.
After 20 years.
Awesome. That was awesome for a home-based haunted house. Just went through it this past year. I was like, it's the last year. Fantastic.
Yeah. Paul, congratulations. You'll get the DUI memorabilia from the LA release. And Jason, thank you for the interview and for that memorabilia as well. We'll get this out to you.
Very cool.
Yeah, so, and for those who are just joining in, when you share this interview out, even if you're not sharing it live, if you're sharing it anytime this week, we'll draw 3 winners next week, and you'll get great memorabilia here as well, autographed.
Autographed, yeah.
Autographed.
Ooh.
I brought the Sharpie, so get it autographed.
Sweet.
All four of you.
Dave Greathouse says hello.
Hey, Dave.
House.
House is here.
House.
Douglas is watching.
Ed.
Midnight Syndicate.
Vinyl Arcade.
Mouse is in the house.
Oh, Vinyl Arcade.
Vinyl Arcade.
We love them. We love them.
Joel Mouse.
Hey,
Mouse is in the house.
Mouse. Ghouls.
I need my cowbell.
Yeah. Ding, ding, ding. We don't have nothing. What
Let's
kind of studio is this?
Oh, yeah, we should do that. We'll have to come up with a thing when we're
We
saying
usually
more
bring
people.
them when we do shout outs.
Yeah, I usually have
I
a.
like
It's
it.
all packed away from
Maria
other studios.
Tangy.
I'll go get it.
Cool.
You said I can get up. I'll go get it.
There's a
Go ahead,
lot of
leave.
people jumping online
Sweet.
saying
Hey, everybody.
hello.
Guys, thank you for jumping on. Thank you for
Join,
sharing.
share.
It's going to be we're just going to go free form and ask some stories. But before, I usually open up with just a question.
Uh-oh.
And most of my interviews are with one person. And so tonight's going to be it's going to be even more fun.
We're a team.
Yeah, 3 times the trouble. But
Hey. I like that.
Shout out to Terry G. He's not here tonight.
Yeah, Terry. You're lucky.
He's one of the other.
we miss you, Terry.
Yeah, camera snore. So
Snore.
Hey, we don't really miss him because he would be sleeping. Right?
Yeah,
That's true.
All right.
You don't know he's not here.
All right, let's get to questions.
But before we go to that question,
Okay,
no, let's start with the question, and then we're going to go straight to the story behind reading the
don't let
name.
him
I don't think that
All right.
story is that
That's
important.
that's my favorite story. It's my favorite
All
story.
right, I love- okay, so the question is, and it has to be a team answer, so you guys have to talk amongst yourselves.
Uh-oh.
Oh, man.
What would you consider is the best decade for monster horror classic? Best
This is right up
decade.
your alley.
Okay,
Best
I know
decade.
what he's going to say.
Best deck. Well, for monster or horror, see,
Yeah. No,
if you want to see,
now that's a can of worms, man.
It's a can of worms because if you're going to talk, a horror movies. I'm an '80s guy, '80s all the way.
I knew it. But that's not really horror. That's slasher.
Slasher.
That's horror, but slasher. If you're talking
really?
horror, I'm saying 30s
That's
and 40s.
horror and gore.
30s and 40s.
That's when you have the monsters. That's where monsters all came about.
I don't
All
listen
your
to what he
iconic
says
monsters.
anyway. He doesn't like big monster movies. He doesn't like Godzilla. He doesn't
He's
like
a
any of that
Godzilla
stuff.
guy. I don't like those big monsters.
I can't.
Frankenstein. That's about it, Frankenstein.
So 80s, you're saying what you have to
I'm
pick
saying
one a
30s
decade.
and 40s.
30s and 40s.
Yeah, I'm saying the classic
The
Universal. I'm even narrowed down.
Oh, I'm a Universal guy.
I could go 50s.
You're just pulling that one out of your butt.
I'm not.
You're just
No, the 50s.
No. Why?
That- what-
Why?
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 Why not?
Exactly. I just said he pulled it out of his butt.
He wins
That's
the
his
right.
answer to everything.
See, that's
That's
what we gotta
where-
go through every week.
Yeah, well,
Fans at home know, right?
I just 80s. I think it was the most fun decade of horror movies, slasher movies, sci-fi movies, the whole thing. 70s was more of a gritty kind of, suspense. Yeah, grindhouse, but gritty, mess with your mind kind of, And then 80s was more in your face, slasher, gore, this, that, whatever. 90s started going back to the the creepiness. The
we don't need a
eeriness.
whole like.
if you want to
just
split it,
the-
not the true
I talk
decade,
too
though.
much. What?
Not the true decade. If you went the true decade, but it's like from I'd call it 55 to 65.
Now he's changing 55 to 65.
It's a decade.
It's a
See,
decade.
you open a can
It's
of
a
worms.
decade.
These guys all
what do you
done.
think?
There was
What's
no
yours?
rules.
What do you
What's
think?
yours? There you go. Good question.
You know what I mean? It's so subjective. I'd say 70s, and I because I like the gritty,
Yeah,
grindy.
I teeter, but I go 80s because it is. But
So, what do you guys think it is out there, right? So tonight we're interviewing with the Midnight Movie. You guys have been producing this movie as a team in various forms for 20,
Over
20
20
years.
years.
24 years.
About 23.
Rich, Mike, Dennis, behind the scenes.
Denny.
We got
Rocco's
Rocco,
the man.
Denny.
And Terry.
Denny.
Denny.
Yeah,
Denny.
And Triv.
if you want to be accurate, Big Denty is what we call him.
Because
There you
I'm
go.
big.
Yeah. But Rocco's the show. Rocco's the one that started the show, and he's been with it since the beginning, and it was his
Produces it
concept,
and
and
directs
he
it.
does everything. Without Rocco, we don't have a show. So Rocco's the man. But Rocco was never really seen on camera. Watch out, Rocco.
Is he
He's got
camera
his
shy?
face covered.
But he's covered, so he's
No,
cool.
it's-
But he's always tinkering around. So how the show's been around for 23 years, I don't know, because he's always tinkering around. We don't know what's going on, but he makes us look good. So that's the show. He started the show, and then we just all, like we told you earlier, we all snuck aboard.
Yeah.
It started off with they had the original hosts and stuff like that. When I started watching the show back in the 90s, I think it was like 1998, came on Rocco, something like that. I came across it one day on my cable channel. It was a cable, like access show, right? It was a cable show, a Cablevision show, right? I just happened to watch it, started watching it. I became a fan of the show, and I eventually weaseled myself down to it for like an interview to get on the show. And I got on the show, and I was in a skit, and then that was it. I was supposed to be gone. I was like, okay, thanks for coming down. I was in a skit. But I told Rocco I'd like to learn how to do some camera work and stuff. He said, well, come down anytime. So I came down every single week.
Oh,
His
famous
famous
last
words, though.
Yep.
He says that to a lot of people,
Yeah,
though. That
yeah. He said,
Yeah.
no anymore.
Yes,
We
not
put
anymore.
a kibosh on him. Because
No
we
more.
saw, look
Come
what you
down
got stuck
anytime.
with.
No
But
more.
I
Come
came
down
down, and
anytime.
then eventually I produced a movie. Rocco helped me, and we cast Triv in it. He was in a role in my movie.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, he weasels down here.
I weaseled down. Well,
And then he weaseled down
You know
to a
how that
different
happened,
avenue.
though? Because
Yeah,
I
he
was
weaseled
watching
down.
the show late at night,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh, there's Rich. He's directing the movie that I'm in." And then I heard you say we even got Mike Trevisano in our movie.
Yeah, we got Mike
playing off
Trevisano.
the radio name.
I wasn't purposely
But
doing
he
it.
goes, Mike Trevisano's in our
Everybody
movie.
just thinks-
And I hear my name, and I go, man, that's cool. So then I said, hear my name. Thanks for shouting me out. And then I said, I have an idea for a skit. Well, let me talk to Rocco. And of course, Rocco, come on down. So
Come on down.
I never left.
So that's what happened. We all weaseled our way in that way. We've both done films. Okay, he's done better ones with actual stars. I consider my actors, from around here the stars. But he did Michael Madsen, and you were in
Joanna Pakula.
Joanna
But, hey,
Pakula.
well, who did I call to come on and be on set and be in the movie and help out?
Yeah, me.
I called you and said, I want to
And
come
I
out
got
and help
cut
out
out.
with Rich. You did not get cut out.
Yeah, I only see my body from here to there, but I don't care.
Yeah, that's a
cool.
lie. I'll prove that to you. I have a screenshot.
But Michael Madsen did an impromptu scene with me, kind of at the end of the movie, which was so cool and
that
so
got cut out
sweet.
too, though.
And they cut that out, and that to me brought the
He
whole movie
improv
together.
that. He improv that with you.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
I didn't.
it was a
hand
simple
to him.
handshake, but it meant so much in this movie.
It did. It wrapped it all up.
And it gets cut out, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" I had the handshake and final scene with Michael Madsen, and that gets cut out.
I had no
Yeah, but he had no control. But
control.
So you find yourself, you kind of weasel yourself into the set. Triv, what about you? How did your connect?
It was the same thing. I was in his movie, and I knew he was part of the Midnight Movie, and I watched it late at night, heard my name, and I'm like, oh, cool, and I think I reached out to you, or I saw you on set the next time, or whatever, at the movie, and was talking about some ideas for a skit that I had, because I saw some of the skits that they were playing, And he said, "I'll talk to Rocco," and then you sent me an email back, or you called me or whatever, and said, "Yeah, Rocco said come on down with your idea." So I came down with my idea. We actually planned it out. I think the next week we shot it. Didn't go as planned, but
of course not. Best laid plans.
But you know,
nothing we do is
Rocco
planned.
says, you know, I said, "Hey, I
even our
wouldn't mind
skits
if you
aren't
guys,
that planned."
if you guys ever need any help around here, I'd love to come on down." And Rocco said, "Go on down anytime."
Go on anytime.
So I did. So I helped run camera, you know, and
that's how we all.
And then at the end,
started.
you know, if you have any ideas for skits, they need an extra body, throw me in there, you know, or throw Denny in there, you know, whoever.
Then we
was
just
down
kind of
there.
ran out of people, so we had to make him the co-host. It's like next in line, right?
Yeah,
that's how it works.
Well,
because I wasn't. I started out.
He won't
like
shut up.
I wasn't.
Sometimes, so that's why he's.
I wasn't part of the on-camera talent until the show kind of.
You have talent.
The show went on a not. I wouldn't say a hiatus, but we were teetering between cable stations. So there was a brief moment where we weren't on TV. So when we got another contract, that famous word contract, to be back on cable, you know, then I weaseled my way to Rocco and I said, "Hey, Rocco, what do you think? You know, be a really good, would be a really good, like just a couple minute long segment of the show.
Ever a couple minutes long.
How about like if I do like a trivia with something that has something to do with the movie or people in the movie we're showing, and maybe we can give a prize or something." That's how he talks.
Rocco talks.
Because you can't hear him. But in other words, he was saying, "Yeah, that's a good idea." So I started out with a 2-minute segment, turned into 5 minutes, turned into everybody trying to disrupt me while I'm giving out the trivia.
Yeah,
so it became
shut up.
It became a crazy.
As you can see,
it was a crazy fun segment. It turned into a very popular segment because they were throwing things at me while I'm trying to read, spraying me with that silly putty.
Well, that's what we used to do.
While I'm trying to read the question, and it's all, you know. So it was a fun time.
Before you came along,
you know, the silly string and all that. And my whole body was covered one time while I'm reading the question, and I'm covered with silly string, and I'm giving out the question. And that was a fun time. Yeah, we still have the segment.
He was a single guy. He needed laid, so he had lays all over.
That was another guy. You guys are confused.
Yeah. That was another.
But anyways, that's basically.
But that's how I weaseled my way into it. Now
you can't get rid of them. I mean, yeah, it's great to have them.
Yeah.
So decades later, you guys are still together, you know, yapping it up and having shenanigans every Friday night, most weeks during the year.
Yeah,
Saturday night at midnight.
Saturday night midnight.
No.
Gotcha.
On most cable stations. On Roku, we're on the Monster Channel or Erie Late Night Channel on Roku. I think we're on Monday afternoons. Well, Monday afternoons and on a Friday afternoon and Friday night on that channel. And Betamax has our new show on Fridays, I believe. You can watch that at any time.
We're on Betamax, and there's a whole series of shows. Sometimes they have us up to date. Sometimes they're a week or two behind.
We're also on
just a matter how they
cable and Spectrum Channel 180, on Cox Channel 45, and on Wow Channel 19, and also Brunswick Area TV and some other ones.
Now, it's really important on all those channels because we're not on the guide.
Yeah.
So when you turn on, and these tend to be public access channels, so when you go onto the channels, if you click the guide and you look for the midnight movie, you're not going to see it. You just have to turn on when we tell you to turn on. And you might see, you know, the Air Spryer special or something on the guide, but we're...
Turn us on at midnight, we'll be on.
So just check out our website, themidnightmovie.net, and you can find all this information. We don't have to bore you with it right now, but you can track us down there, and it's got all our information.
And the back catalog. In the back catalog. You go on there and you can watch.
There are a series of movies on there you can watch and get a taste of it. I think on Brunswick Area Television, you can go on there. Don't they have an archive of our shows still?
Yeah.
You can watch some shows on there. As a matter of fact, we want our fans. We love our fans so much that if you can't get the show, you can send us an email, and we will email you
a link to
watch the show. Because we want the people. We love our fans, and we want them to see the show wherever they are. Share the show, because without the fans, we don't have a show. We don't have no reason to do it. You know.
And there's not many shows out there. Brand new show every week, all year long. The only time, maybe Christmas, New Year's, you might get a repeat, but not very often. Usually we have a brand new show.
Sometimes the cable channel screw up and they'll show.
Yeah,
they won't show the right show and they'll show a repeat. But we have a brand new 2-hour show practically every week of the year. So
you can guarantee 50 new shows a year.
So
And then 2, depending on the scheduling and whatever's going on, what might happen. But, you know, it's 50 shows a year guaranteed.
Yeah, a lot of shows.
Gotcha. So, in addition to putting in your favorite decade, you just put in the comments, and we can banter about that later. Feel free to ask questions, and Beth will arm the phone, and we'll shoot those out at some point. So it seems to me, was it Twisted Spine
That
Films?
was my film company.
That was your film company?
.com Films, yeah.
And
It
that
wasn't really a film company. It was a film group. It wasn't like a company. It was a group that I organized for artists, like local artists, actors, musicians, whatever, to contribute to a film. My idea of it was that, you know, there's so many people out there looking to get their work done, but they don't have that opportunity. Why not have a project that everybody works on? Nobody's making any money. Everybody's contributing their passions to it and making a product. And that's what we did. We did several films like that. Rocco helped me. And local people, you know, chipped in, like, you know, Triv, musicians, bands. It was fantastic. It was like you know, working, I call it a working resume.
It was great, like collaborative with
a collaborative
Ohio,
resume.
yeah.
And then the people that, you know, contributed my films, because I was usually the writer, because that was what I wanted to do, you know, write, direct. Then we would promote whoever put their talents into it. Who did that music? Oh, that was this band. Who did that makeup? You know, oh, that was this guy. You know what I mean? And a couple of the people that are in my movies are now out in, proud to say, out in Hollywood, working on some films and stuff today, you know, that started in my movies. And with him, too. He does his films, and he's got a lot of local talent. It's basically same thing, right? It's a collaborative thing. So we both kind of same thing. But that was my film group, I'll call it. But I haven't done that in a while since I've been concentrating here. This is important to me because this is instant connectivity with the fans and the people and stuff like that. You know, it gives me a chance to be creative. It gives me a chance to write and do makeup, do props. Rocco knows me and my props. You know, all that creative stuff. You know me for many years.
And he gets to hang out with us.
And we just
have
that too.
We
just have a lot of fun.
We have fun.
Just the energy when we're on set doing our thing. It's always improv. We never have, okay, this was our script for the show. It's, oh wait, what's the movie we're playing? Okay, we do a little research on some of the tidbits and things. We have a trivia and some information about the movie itself. But the segments are all, you know,
we actually try to sabotage each other because who knows what somebody's bringing in. You know, they'll bring in something like, you know, we got to eat this, or, you know, do this or do that. So we're
extra
just
hot stuff. You know, I bought a bag of, you know, camera snore. Terry G brought in the hot habanero beef jerky, and we had to, you know, eat it on camera live.
So
you know.
whatever, we're trying to throw like stuff at each other. You know,
Terry, we had pizza one day around, and Terry actually had pixie sticks on a pizza. So he put that sour sugar.
He was drunk on pixie sticks. He literally was drunk on pixie sticks.
But yeah, it's like that. You know, it's whatever. We're kind of just having fun, and we want the people at home to have fun and feel like they're a part of this group. And they are, because we have a hotline. What's our hotline number?
Our hotline is 440-944-7105. Leave us a message, comments, suggestions, movie requests.
Call it right
likes,
now. We might
dislikes.
hear it ring.
Yeah, call it right now.
Yeah, you call it right now.
Leave
You
a
will hear
message,
it ring.
and then we'll, you know, play some of those on the show. And you know, it's an opportunity for the fans to be a part of the show. They send us stuff. You know, it's just like it's a big collaborative with our audience.
I mean, we really feel like we know our fans and they know us. I mean,
push that line in there if you would. What's that number again? Because Beth is going to put it right on there, so people are going to watch it, going to see it, so you guys can.
440-944. 944. No, 440-944. 7105.
7105.
Yep.
Sorry, I was putting the hotline is before it, and I
That's
totally
okay.
lost
Nobody
it.
will answer, so
All
you don't
right,
have to be afraid.
440-944-7105.
That's it.
So now you've got the Midnight Movie Hotline, because your show, even though it might not be live, you're interactive anyways, right? You're interactive. You're taking requests. You're
all the time.
Yeah, whatever, you know. If we can show, because we show the public domain movies. So if somebody has a request for it, we pass it through Rocco. He goes through the vault. Sees, you know, tries to make sure
Someone always throws in, like, you know, show Jaws. You know, we can't show Jaws. We can't show Star Wars. The Turkish Star Wars.
The Turkish Star Wars. Yeah. You just don't show the Turkish Superman.
Yeah, that's a horrible movie.
I love that.
That's a horrible movie.
But Turkish Superman, you can't get better than that.
That's why some of those movies you love rest my case with his
Well,
answer.
I'm an Ed Wood fan. All right, because I love Ed Wood and his bad movies and Al Adams, and I'm a bad movie director fan because they put the effort out there and it didn't really pan out, but they're still amusing and their effort. I admire somebody that goes against all odds and tries to accomplish something. That was one of the reasons with my film company. Same thing. Nobody's going to come here to Cleveland and say, "Hey, dude, make a movie." I want to make a movie, so what better than do it? And I got that advice from a friend of mine, a filmmaker from New Jersey, Carl Petrie, and I was telling him about wanting to make films and acting and makeup and all this stuff. He said, "Dude, quit talking about it, just do it." And I did, and everybody came aboard, and it was a magical thing, and it made so many lasting relationships through it too. You know what I mean? So, and that's what we like to do too. Is we help people out if they need something done or whatever like that, or we know people, we recommend people.
That's kind of what inspired me to start making my own films. My first movie I was ever in, shout out to House, because he worked on makeup.
Which one was that?
On it was Bigfoot.
Oh, yeah.
And
one of the Bigfoot heads got exchanged at one of our art exchange gatherings.
No kidding.
It was one of the, I know exactly.
Yeah,
You showed that out in Mentor, right?
Yep. So that was my first ever taste of it, and I was hooked. And then I went on a couple of auditions. I started taking some acting classes. Shout out to Ray Such at North Coast Central Casting, and then I got a part for in his movie. So that's what kind of got me like, I can do this.
On the chair.
So I had a movie idea, wrote a script out. My first ever thing I ever wrote in my life, and actually
a murder machine.
And actually won first place in a screenwriting contest.
Yeah.
At the Indie Gathering. So I was like,
do you find yourselves driven?
Here's my movie right here.
Oh yeah. Have you found yourselves driven by? This is which movie?
That's Murder Machine. That's the one that I cast Triv in.
So
It's like an 80s style slasher with a twist.
Hey, I'm in there too.
Yeah, you're in there too. His daughter was in there.
So the whole group is here.
My daughter is the.
Rocco shot it.
Yeah, my daughter is the poor little girl that gets her throat cut.
I don't give away any
spoiler
alerts. Yeah.
Spoiler.
But actually, the former host of the Midnight Movie that I was co-host with, he's in that. Rocco shot it. He's in it. He's in it. Another former host from the show was in it. So, it's kind of like a Midnight Movie related thing.
There's sort of a who's who of the Midnight Movie showing around in there.
I absolutely love it. And the reason why is I stopped my question was because my question was going to be, are you driven by the creation of the skits? Is that a driving factor? Is to put together kind of this live?
For me, it's you've known me for a while.
Yeah.
I just love to create. I love to entertain. I just love to make people react and basically have fun. So I have it all here. I can joke around with my friends on the show here, have fun with the audience. I can do props if I want to, makeup, skits. To me, it's just like. It's a place for me to express my creativity. Because I get, just built up. I got so many ideas in my head. So when I can come here and shoot a skit, I mean, we could have a whole day of just shooting skits, So that's my
we like each other, a lot. We're all good friends. So, we pretty much can say anything to anybody, any of us, and joke around and do whatever we want. But there's that certain camaraderie that just sort of flows over. So it's the getting together, and then as we're getting together, the creative juices start flowing and stuff. We're all creative in our own little way, and things start bubbling, and depending on the mood or how much we're into it, what might develop and what might come out of it, and it just grows and blossoms to what we got here.
And a lot of times, we don't even plan on a skit. We could be at a convention, and you can walk into a bathroom and he notices that half the urinals have a do not use tape across it. Boom, he comes up with a skit 5 minutes later, and some land, some don't.
Yeah.
But it's like a lot of them are just done right.
We look
right
for
there at the moment.
opportunities.
Yeah.
And they're all truly
very rarely
improv.
Very rarely do we actually sit down and write out
There's
a
no
skit.
writing. There's no script. It's like I got an idea.
But then you have Rocco go, and then
I pass the idea to Rocco because I had the idea. Then he figures out how he's going to shoot it. And then sometimes the translation between us and him, all of a sudden you lose track of your own idea. It's like, what happened? But generally he makes them come out looking good, so then it makes you look good.
You know, and the whole things with skits are improv too.
Yeah.
It's like we'll take, you know, the general thought and the general punchline or whatever is the main issue. But after that, it's like, you know, the things that go on before it, you know, or leading up to it. You know, it just, we may have 3-4 takes because it's like, oh, that didn't make sense. Let's do it another way. And then we do it, you know, we'll do it another way. So after 3-4 takes, all of a sudden, boom, we got a good sit. So it is truly improv. And I like to think it's it shows how, I don't want to say good, but I mean, you know, to do that improv like that and to come, you know, things are coming off the top of our head, it takes a special nuthead mind or whatever, and I think we all have our little nuthead mind.
There's the thing about our skits, though, are, you know, like Big Chuck and Little John, they're known for their skits, and they're out, you know, different scenarios, whatever. A lot of our skits are driven just from our relationship and the show. It'll take place like on the show, or you know, like that. They're with us as the characters, and the punchlines on us. They're not like, you know, oh, okay, you're a police officer, and you know, it's you're Denny, and we're doing this, and then something stupid happens, you know, and so that's a lot of our skits. And the other thing I like to say about our skits, you know, Big Chuck and Little John, I mean, you can't top their skits, legendary. But if you ever go to Glardy Fest, they sell their skit collections there, and I'm proud to say that we are the only other show that has a skit, one of our skits, on their skit tapes. They liked it so much that they included it on their skit tapes. And that's, to me, growing up with Big Chuck and Little John, Houlihan, Super Hosts, like, oh, we all are. To me, that's the proudest moment. I wrote this skit, Triv's in it, and we got Big Stash in it, and Little John.
And Little John. I mean, whoever thought, I never thought in a million years growing up watching Big Chuck and Little John that eventually I'm going to be in a skit with Little John. I mean, it was like,
and I want to come back to, because that's a whole great discussion about like who we looked up to, right? And who we watched.
That's our inspiration.
That's why we do what we do.
Yeah. And I could say too that I experienced Rich in rare form. We talked about this just a few minutes ago, and a moment of genius improv. I call it genius. I call it genius, and there's a lot of folks that are going to be watching.
Hope it wasn't the story you told earlier.
Oh yeah. And there are folks watching that were witness to this. We were in a parade. He was doing this crazy clown.
My clown, Deadhead.
Deadhead, the clown.
Oh my God.
And there was a horse who dropped a few road apples down.
Oh boy.
Rich grabbed a handful of road apples.
Steaming hot.
I
remember it.
What were you thinking?
Anything for our haunted house, a weird Legion of Terror. We were top line of haunted houses, you know, so we have to do the unexpected.
So doing that.
Oh, and believe me, I mean, Rich was not subtle. It was like scoop. Everybody saw it. He presented. And everybody split. It was.
Oh my God.
When you're in character.
In character.
That's exactly it. You know my characters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
moment of genius.
Yeah, I understand about being in character. When you're in character, you're doing some things that you...
Then he does some good work, too. We can't really say too much about it, but we have a mascot on the show called Dr. Midnight. And he's like, you don't see him too often because we can't keep track of him. But he's like a, what would you describe him? He's a mad doctor, vampire genius.
Mad doctor, I guess. Just a crazy doctor.
He pops up because when we do conventions and stuff like that, runs around for a while. Then he's gone.
I've always said that Big Dentee was like the backbone of the show.
Oh, yeah.
He does a lot of behind the scenes stuff that we don't even know about. That, you know, keeping things in order, getting things dropped off, collecting stuff, watching the table while we're out and you're flubbing up.
That's
at
why this is like a
fest.
collaborative.
Oh, yeah, I get stuck watching
collaborative.
The table. Yeah.
This is a collaborative. You know, I come up with ideas. Triv comes up with ideas. He's the backbone. I wouldn't say he's the creative idea man, but without him, all the other stuff can't function.
Yeah.
He's the one that handles our merchandise, handles our setting up our table, and keeps us on track. And you know,
we all have our areas.
And
of
Rocco's
strength.
the one that puts us all together. Rocco's our ranges
Rocco's
together.
the glue that holds it all together.
He don't even act like he's existing over there. But without Rocco containing all this and the right energy, you know, we'd be nothing. We wouldn't be 23 years.
So you guys on who are watching can't see this. So there's 4 of us sitting down here, and Rocco's back there. He's got 2 cameras. He's got a handheld. He's moving around like crazy and switching things up. He's got us all mic'd, and it's an amazing. I mean,
you should see when we had a regular studio and we have the 3 mics set up, and we used to have a control room, and you know, we're supposed to have camera operators, you know, but the camera operators seem like they usually just drift onto the couches and start becoming part of the show. And poor Rocco's running around from camera, switching room, you know, boom, 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 boom. So, and you know what? We're just doing our thing because we know that Rocco's got us. Yeah. And he always does. He always comes through. So.
Well, thank you for allowing us to relive that genius moment from, that was 93, 92, 93. It was,
if I did that kind of a genius moment here, you know what happens to me? A big puff of smoke comes up on me. And I yell, censorship!
Can I tell you my genius moment?
Oh yeah, share that genius moment.
This is my favorite moment.
Okay. Go ahead.
Rich,
the look on your face.
All right, Trev.
The look on your face. You walk back and forth. Oh my God! I'm telling you, he was looking for
He
was looking for a hole to fall in, and he couldn't find one. It was the best.
Get to the story.
Gallardi
Get
Fest.
it over with.
What year was this? Gallardi Fest.
2 years ago. 2 years ago. Rocco's
3 years ago.
And we usually play a big part at Gallardi Fest, you know, and we have a time slot on stage, and we either judge the karaoke contest or a costume contest or whatever, and try to MC a couple other things. And
Chuck and Johnny has to do, we're there.
Yeah, so we were judges for the karaoke contest, and I think there was maybe 10 entries, and there was one woman who knocked it out of the park. Hands down, not a question asked. We know who the winner is. Everybody else, couple, but this one.
And we're taking it serious.
So we all, you know, we got to huddle up together, and we're marking our scores and all that. so he goes over. He goes, we all know. I mean, we know who the winner is, right? Right. So let's you call the runner up. We do a runner up, and then he calls the winner. And he's looking at the winner, but name he called out. Someone else stood up.
He called out the wrong name.
He goes, "Oh wait, I'm sorry. He had a Steve Harvey moment. He goes, "I'm sorry. Oh no, I read it wrong." That's when you said upside down. I started laughing.
I had paper.
Because I had it upside down. I go, what does that mean? That she was last? What are you talking about? So he was backtracking. I'm so sorry. How do you come out of that?
He cringes off of the
stage. This poor girl stands up, and he has to say, I'm sorry. You didn't win. You didn't win. And I mean, there was a groan in the audience because we all know who won.
I heard all the breath go out.
So he calls the wrong name. The crowd goes, oh. Someone else stands up and has to sit down. He felt bad. I'm just looking at him like, well,
I
thought he was trying to let her skin. I go, no, are you joking? What are you doing here? So finally we said, you know, we're so sorry after it was all over. We're so sorry. You know, come to our table. You know, we'll make up for it. Come over. You know, pick anything you want. Rocco again. Come on, pick anything you want. Come on down anytime you want. So she comes in. Take a hat, take a shirt, because you
take the bar.
I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it. Just find something. Well, $80 later.
That is.
But you know, there's part of us.
That was my favorite story.
Because we're so. Because we are who we are. There's some people might have been thinking, you know, were they just joking?
Right.
You know, we weren't.
I thought it was at first. I go, what are you doing? He goes, oh my god! Oh my god! I read it backwards. I had it upside down. What the hell? And then we were interviewing Hacksaw Jim Duggan, WWE Hall of Famer. We're interviewing him, and he comes out, and he's got a big.
I had an excellent.
He has a big
thing set up.
He wants to set up with Hacksaw Jim Duggan
that he doesn't know about. I'm gonna spring it on him.
Yeah. Well, I guess the bottom line is you never sprung it on him because he goes, I got this picture. You ever hear of this wrestler?
I used to do a wrestler character in a show many years ago. We used to do like stupid wrestling and stuff, and I did a character called the Masked Snake, right? And I'd come on and I had the mask on and stuff like that, and we would wrestle, and he had these big Hulk hands with stupid stuff. So I'm thinking, you know what? It's going to be cool. I'm going to pull out a picture of the masked snake, and I'm going to ask Hacksaw Jim Duggan, this legend, hey, what about this guy? Would you wrestle this guy, you know? So I build this whole thing up, and then I reach back to get the picture.
We're all in a really good flow. We're in a good flow, and then he comes up with the, hey, let me ask you this. You ever hear this wrestle? Would you fight it? And then we're like, silence. We're like waiting. Wait, I got it here. And we're just silence.
I hadn't heard that story.
No,
I hadn't heard that story.
Watch the interview and you'll see it. That's I was like, oh, you sure you got it?
Oh, it's one of those moments, you know, where you got something playing that's going to be so awesome, and then, like, hollow, nothing. And then you're trying to get out of it. So, a few times I make a couple foo-foos.
Well, when you were talking about a genius moment at Ghilardi Fest, I thought you might be talking about Rich streaking.
Oh my God, that's another one right there. I almost had a heart attack. No one warned me they were going to do this.
Thank you, audience, for jumping in. Who's that from?
This is Mouse.
Mouse, yeah, God bless it. That gave me a heart attack.
When you started talking about that, I was expecting.
Go ahead, you tell me.
Well, I always wanted to do a sequel to The Streak.
And Big Chuck, I don't care what anybody says, Big Chuck was pissed.
This guy don't.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
No, he wasn't.
I come up with the idea that I'm going to do a sequel to The Streak, and I'm going to streak through the Ghilardi Fest, right? And so it's all set up. So Rocco goes, he tells Chuck and John that it's going to happen.
No, he didn't tell them what we were going to do.
We didn't tell the audience or anybody that was there. You know, we just told them.
Yeah, he didn't tell me either.
Didn't tell him. Well, I don't know.
We don't tell you everything.
You weren't doing it.
Because you walked out of the room. And
I know I had to get naked.
Listen, his outfit, he looked naked.
Yeah. So I was... You know, it sounded like a good idea, but when I'm back there getting ready to do it, I'm like, oh my God. You know, I'm not exactly like, you know, Herculean body here. So, get my nerve up, I do it. I bust out the door and I come running around, streaking through the Ghilardi Fest.
And he's going, woo!
Yeah, I'm
woo!
acting crazy.
And I'm at the table and I just see this door open.
His face.
Woo! I go, what the hell is he doing? Oh my God. And I'm sweating. I go,
I ran past
what's he doing?
I ran past, you know, up to by the stage. Then I ran past Chuck, and Chuck gets up, and he comes out there like, you know, he's going to get me. Hey, get out of here, you know. And he had a total smile on his face, you know. But he's having a heart attack because he thinks that Chuck is really mad.
I'm thinking we're never going to be here again.
Yeah.
On top of you streaking and then giving out the wrong winner. We're never coming back.
Well, we did get to go back. But, yeah, I did that, the Streak sequel, and then... Man, I don't want to play that too often because I don't look too well. I don't want to see myself naked like
scared the crap out of you.
You know, you think, you know, Art Lafredo did that skit back in the 70s, running around downtown, wherever he's running around, and you're wearing a little flesh-colored thing, you know.
But you probably still feel...
Yeah, you do. I'm back there, I'm like, oh my God, I do feel like I'm naked, you know. You know, because I'm actually kind of a shy guy. I'm going to run around, nobody's going to expect it. But, you know, once I get out there in character, like we used to do at the haunted house, right? Once you're in character,
just do it.
I'm running up there on the stage, I'm running around, you know, looking like a baboon, but yeah, thanks.
So Triv, how do people see that old skit? Is it out there?
Yeah, that's a good question.
The Streak?
The Streak.
Is it out there anywhere on camera?
It's not.
Yeah?
It's not, because we have to pick different music, because I think it got flagged.
What we used. Yeah, we had the Streak music on it, but that's copyrighted. So we were trying to get some other music on it. And I don't know whatever happened to it. It's one of our skits that are in limbo. It's one of our rarely seen skits, right?
We're still trying to, I think we're trying to write an original song.
For that. So we got some musicians out here. So if you get some good Streak music, I mean, maybe that'll...
Well, my friend Ed Mansfield wrote some music for it too, but... I don't know what happened. Rocco like bogged up on it. I never seen it two come together.
We got to get that finished.
I know. I don't want to waste that, right? I don't want to run around naked at the Ghilardi Fest and never have a fun skit out of it.
The Ghilardi Fest mix-up, that I post regularly on our Facebook page.
Really regularly.
Maybe after tonight, I'll post it just so if anybody wants to go to our Facebook page, the Midnight Movie on Facebook, I'll repost that because I do repost that a lot.
Yeah, I know you do.
That one's a good one.
He loves that. He loves to torture me.
And so if you share tonight, if you share this video, you'll also get the opportunity to get some skits. We've been talking about skits. We're going to give 3 away next week. We're going to draw names of everybody who's who shared, and so and you guys can autograph this. I know that we mentioned that earlier.
Do whatever you want.
Piece of Cleveland, Northeast Ohio.
My favorite thing about it's got the Ghoul on here. If you love the Ghoul, he came down to our show, and there's some great times with the Ghoul on here on our show.
So there was a question earlier. Someone was asking whether, I think they thought you were referencing the Cool Ghoul from Cincinnati. Did that sound
No, we're talking
familiar at all?
about Ron Sweet, the Ghoul,
Right.
from Cleveland.
But I meant for this person who thought it was Cincinnati.
Right.
I had never heard of the Cool
No,
Ghoul.
there was a
Does that
Cool
sound
Ghoul,
familiar?
but no, we're talking about the Ghoul, Ron Sweet, right here in
Right.
Cleveland.
Cleveland, and he did a lot in Detroit too.
Yeah,
That
Detroit.
answers
Right.
it.
Shout out to Mouse Wilhelm, who's watching today, who hooked us up, was it 2 years ago?
Yep.
Hooked us up with a bunch of the guys from the original Ghoul show. We went down to the Ghoul studio, which was right around the corner from our old studio, and we shot a whole show there. We did 2 episodes of a Ghoul reunion show with the cast and crew. We had some boom booms there. We had a great time. And if this stuff ever clears up this virus, we're going to do a sequel to that. So look forward to that. So if you love the Ghoul, stay tuned.
And I don't know, Rocco, are those shows still available on our website?
One of them is, I know.
I know one for sure.
Both of them are up there.
If you go to our website, themidnightmovie.net, I think you'd be able to find those 2 shows we did with the Ghoul reunion. It's some good stories, because those are all the people, or a lot of the people that used to work on the show with the Ghoul, even in Detroit. They came down and shared stories.
Right.
So
let's go there. So, TV horror show hosts. We had mentioned the Ghoul, super host, Big Chuck, Little John.
Houlihan.
Yeah, Big Chuck and Houlihan. Tell us, as you guys are baton carriers, like what those inspirations were like, how you were introduced, and to Saturday morning or Friday night movies back in the day.
Right. I mean, well, just as a kid, that was, you had 3 or 4 channels, so that was our thing as a kid. We're going to Super Host on Saturday, Big Chuck and Little John, Houlihan or whatever on Friday nights. Then we also had the Sir Graves Ghastly for a while. We had the drive-in movie on Friday night. Creature Features was here for a while. So all that stuff inspired me. The Bowery Boys, Three Stooges on Saturdays, Saturday morning cartoons, all those things. It just kind of puts you all together. It builds your memories, builds what you want to do. If you're into that, it kind of just. And it's kind of the same thing. You guys all watched that. Well, you watched the silent films, Denny. But
Pardon me for a second.
Jeez.
you always got to make fun of Denny.
I mean, that's what I grew up. I mean, my grandfather, Houlihan Chuck, Chuck, the spooky movies. I mean, it just got me going. And then the Super Host all afternoon.
It all sort of has your age. Back there and watching the cavemen or whatever, if you will. But, I just missed, I caught the tail end of Goulardi.
Goulardi, yeah.
So, but I was really, the Ghoul and then Superhost were like the 2 that you just seemed to, on Saturday afternoons or whatever, that you're in the Friday nights, Saturday nights that you watched and came in. So, Triv's a little bit younger, so he caught more of the tail end of the Ghoul, but Superhost.
I was Houlihan and Chuck at first, but then it was Chuck and John and then Superhost. I didn't watch a lot of the Ghoul. I caught a little bit of it,
I remember watching the Ghoul when I was in elementary school, running home to see his weekly show. He had like a weekly show. I remember running home so I could watch the Ghoul on TV, and then not understanding it. All I saw was this crazy guy in a costume. I didn't really understand the skits. Like what's going on, because I was just elementary school. But it's like the character. I think the characters what drove me want to work at the haunted house. Characters. I love characters. And you see these things that are larger than life. And you're like, oh my God, I want to do that. I can run around crazy and entertain people, make them laugh, make them feel good. Then Big Chuck and Little John, Houlihan, they just had a magic. And I remember getting an autographed picture, like you had the art picture of the Ghoul. Yeah, check that out. That's his. He's lucky. I got a Ghoul. I got an autographed picture of the Ghoul too.
Is that in the right? So back in early '80s, this might have been '81. I got the Ghoul, and then he told me, Ichabod, get bent. The Ghoul. Yeah. But I mean, those are things that. I
got one from Big Chuck and Little John.
The memorable ones.
From Houlihan and Big Chuck signed. I can't find it now. But when I got that, I was like, they're like superstars.
And I remember going when they used to do the public appearances. They do the basketball games, the charity games and stuff. I remember going to watch them play the basketball games. And you're right, larger than life.
Right.
And I'm just...
Well, John's larger than life, even though he's that tall.
He is larger than life.
Yeah.
We looked up to them, and that's why, another reason I think why we love what we do, because it brings us back to those days, but also trying to just keep it alive.
Right.
Just doing the same thing, doing the skits, and showing the old, most of the time we do show the older, spooky movies, sci-fi movies, but we do branch off once in a while and show a film noir. Or just an old classic from, before they were stars,
science fiction.
But we try to stick with, the main theme of the old monster movies like Horror Hotel, Horror Express, Night of the Living Dead, all that.
We're trying to keep the magic of that, just that entertainment, just a smile on your face. Because remember watching that stuff, it just brought a smile to your face. And not just that, we liked watching the movies, but when we knew when it went to break, we were excited about that too because of the skits, or there's Chuck and John on there. So I was more excited for the breaks, I think, than the movie.
Yeah, a lot of times we were more excited for the breaks.
Usually. And with the ghoul too, it was like, what's the ghoul going to blow up?
Yeah. And we try to have some fun. So when we go to breaks, our segments, sometimes we'll just talk about a tidbit here or whatever, but sometimes we get a little crazy. Yeah. And we have some fun, and we'll do some shout outs. We'll name some of our viewers' names out there and make them feel like they're part of the show. And because we want them to kind of get excited when we go to break, So we're just trying to keep it all going.
Yeah, that's like I said. It's back in those days. You couldn't get hold of you couldn't call in and really be a part of the show. On our show, you can. We want you to. We want you to send us stuff to our post office box.
81593, Cleveland, Ohio, 44181.
Say it one more time, Denny.
P.O. Box, The Midnight Movie, P.O. Box 81593, Cleveland, Ohio, 44181.
Yeah. Or call us at our hotline number, which you've seen.
Yeah, it's in the comments.
Or message us on Facebook. However you can get hold of us. We want people to be a part of the show, We love people being a part of the show. And we have a dream. We actually started it, but we're in a makeshift transition with our studios right now. But putting people's faces up, we call them our Midnight Maniacs. So if you send us a picture of yourself, we're going to put your face up on our set, Yep. And you should have seen our set that we had, what was our last set over at Todd's Studio 3.
Yeah.
We got stuff, all right. Like you see, this is Triv stuff.
A lot of Cleveland memorabilia.
We have memorabilia everywhere on our set, and we got it in storage right now. But people would just like to tune us in to see the stuff that we have out there. Like, oh, look at that! And
people that would visit us when they would walk around, they would just be in awe looking at all the stuff that we had on the set. Yeah. And we were like that when we went when Rich was talking about going to the Ghoul studio,
right?
And went there, and they still had a lot of their stuff up. That was the Ghoul. So we were in awe as we were looking at all the stuff that the Ghoul had on the set. Yeah, so it just it's a special time.
It's like magic, we have a piece of the Ghoul in our storage. We have the
his elbow or arm or something.
No, we have his boom boom pad. Remember that he used to blow stuff up on? We actually have that now, so it's in our storage, and we have a couple of the pieces that he had on his set that we're going to put up when we get our new studio going. But imagine that when you were a kid with Big Chuck and Lil John Houlihan. Remember the big gorilla and stuff like that. We actually got to go down to this one of the last couple tapings of playing Big Chuck. We were there, and I'm what I was probably 50 at the time. I was just like a kid there. Like, oh my God, I'm sitting there like a baby, I couldn't believe it. I was actually there, it's like reaching Oz, So, and then being on the Ghoul set, it was fantastic like that. It was like dreams coming true,
There's something really cool too about, we don't talk about it a lot, but the fact that we're on the show and the things that we've done on the show when we've gone to festivals or some of the monster bashes and that of the world, we have met some just huge stars and big stars that if we weren't involved with this show, we would have never got to meet. I'm still the one I met that's still Richard Kiel, Jaws. It just, you seen him in all the the Bond movies and that, and it's just a great, and I was just so excited to go up and see Jaws, and hi, and I will There's a thing I will remember, but I went to shake his hand, and now his hand had, his hand was like a foot long, but it was the softest, most gentle hand. It just like you were shaking a baby's hand. It was so gentle, but it just that, people that didn't see that and didn't know that wouldn't know that. Yeah. And, I experienced it. It was just really...
But a caveat to that is when I interviewed Richard Keel at his table, and the interview started going a little too long, he let me know by taking his soft, gentle hand and crushing my leg underneath the table to let me know the interview is about
time
over.
To go.
Yeah. So that soft, gentle hand was pretty powerful.
But you're right, though. Some of the perks of doing this is, we get a chance to sit down and interview, big stars. I mean, one of the best interviews, very informative, was one that your wife Julie did with Forrest Ackerman, the creator of the famous Monsters of Filmline magazine. He had great stories, tell you how he got started. I mean,
just a great interview. One of the better interviews. And she's not really a part of the show, but she is. She's like, when we go out and about, she helps Rocco. She does some producing for him. Going out and getting stuff set up, whatever. Is that what that's called, Rocco? Producer, line producer. Yeah, producer. But she ended up sitting down and did this interview with Forrest J. Ackerman, and it was a good interview. And she got to try on his Dracula ring, and he had a Dracula ring, he had a ring from the Mummy, and he had a ring that had Lon Chaney's a piece of Lon Chaney Sr.'s makeup box in her ring. So she got to try those rings on. So it was a good interview.
I mean, we did a lot of good stars.
Creature from Black Lagoon, Ben Chapman,
Kane Hodder, who played Jason, in 4 movies. Yeah. Like I said before, Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Shane Douglas, another wrestler from ECW and NWA.
And places that we've gotten to go, like at the airport, Cleveland Hopkins Airport, we got to go behind the scenes with their fire department and see how we rode inside their armored tank they use for firefighting, and we got to go behind the scenes at TSA, and I almost got arrested because Rocco gave me a suitcase that we took there for a skit that had a shish kebab wire in it that I did not know. And the guy said if we didn't know that it was at the show, I would have been arrested that night. And then we get the thing back, do the skit, and then when I get back home, I find another one that was still in there that they didn't catch. But I mean, we got to go to Kennywood Park, and we got to go to Cedar Point. And we went out to Pittsburgh. We did a trip out to Pittsburgh a few years ago. We used to be on in Pittsburgh, and we went on the incline, and I mean, stuff like that. Behind the scenes stuff that Dawn of the Dead. We were out at Monroeville Mall, and they took us before they did the Live and Die weekends. This is years ago. We went to the tour. They took us on a tour of all the stuff inside the mall. We went to the cemetery in Evans City. We actually have a skit that we shot there that Rocco did an excellent job on. I was going to bring a tape of that, but where we did like a reenactment of the beginning of the thing at the actual sites. He matched up scene for scene, and we did like a little skit. But those are things that the show enables us to do and meet more people and share it with people, fans, and get out there. And it's just a win-win, We're having fun, we're having creativity, we're getting to see things and share things.
Tell us about the movies. The movies.
They suck.
I mean,
not all of them. Not all of them.
I mean, this is great banter. The movies suck. The movies suck, but not all of them.
Not all of them.
Not all.
Some of the suckiest ones are best, like Manos, The Hands of Fate. Man, that thing sucks. I love it to death. I love it. One of my favorites, Plan 9 from Outer Space, of course.
I'll do a lot of research to try to find ones that we haven't shown or haven't shown in a long time that are public domain that might be halfway decent. Like, one of the staples is children shouldn't play with dead things. Now, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
I'm kind of burnt out on the Night of the Living Dead, but
that's a good one.
Classic, though.
It's a classic. We
show it all the time.
Yeah.
But the last couple of years, I have the Astral Factor.
Oh,
that's all right.
It's not good.
Robert Foxworth. That's okay. For our show, for what we show.
Well, what do you say for our show?
That's what I'm saying.
That's not. Horror hosting shows have a history of showing these Z movies.
Wait a minute. What? You like Manos, Hands of Fate, and then I say Astral Factor, you go, oh, no, oh.
Because that has no redeeming qualities. Whereas Manos, I get a lot of enjoyment out of it. It's so stupid. I actually watched the movie thinking I was going to hate it, and it was terrible.
It was horrendous.
To me,
the editing.
That's why it drew me to it. Something drew me to it that I actually did more research on that, and I'm actually when this pandemic clears up a little bit, we're thinking about doing one of our live events where we're going to show the sequel to Manos Hands of Fate, and maybe even the prequel. Oh yeah.
You know,
Speaking of live events, though.
live events.
We are getting into live events now. Thank God. Things are clearing up a little bit. So coming March, was it 13th and March 27th, those 2 dates, the Atlas Cinemas out at Great Lakes Atlas Cinemas.
Great Lakes and Menor.
Great Lakes Mall, if you will.
Great Lakes Mall.
Yeah,
In preparation for the new Kong vs. Godzilla movie, they're showing 3 of the original Godzilla movies.
Godzilla Megalon.
And we're going to be out there.
Godzilla vs. Megalon, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, and Destroy All Monsters. They're going to start on March 12th all the way up to March 31st. They're going to show all those movies for $5.
$5 a piece.
Yeah, a piece for each movie.
And they're playing every day, though.
All the way up until the release of Kong vs. Godzilla, which I think is March 31st.
Now, Triv, you're a fan of these.
Yes.
I mean, we see it all over the place here. Yeah.
My all-time favorite movie though is right behind you, The Thing.
The Thing.
Oh, The Thing.
Carpenter's The Thing. It's
We
my
agree.
all-time
That's a
favorite
good
movie.
movie. But anyways, March 13th
And the
and the 27th, we're going to be out there between like 1 and 4. I think we're talking about.
Yeah, probably around 1 to 4. We'll be out there. We'll have a prize wheel. You can win some prizes.
Prize wheel. Come
maybe
out,
some
meet us.
movie tickets.
Oh man, I got to take out the
movies.
prize wheel.
Oh yeah, prize wheel. So come out, hang out with us, talk to us. If you haven't met us, come meet us. We'd love to meet you. If you have met us, come out. We'd love to see you. Come a Midnight Maniac. We'll probably have some of our merchandise there, and we'll have the spinning wheel, win a prize. And we're not just talking like, it might be a crappy prize. It might be a good prize. We even got Christmas present prizes, all kinds of prizes on the spin the wheel. But come out and we'll have a good time.
What you'll get in the wheel. You
don't know.
They're the old grab bag, grab box, whatever, and I'll take that.
We also bring Big Den T brings our backlog of movies, because when we send our movies out to the cable stations, then we get them back. We package them so that people, if they want a certain movie, we'll have those there, right?
Yep.
So you can buy some of your favorite movies that has an entire show on it with us on it. So you can either fast forward to us or fast forward to the movie, whatever you prefer. But there's some cool names in there. People actually come and they're looking like, oh, you guys showed, what is it, like, what was that one movie that one guy...
Brain Wouldn't Die.
Yeah, Brain Wouldn't Die or something like that. And they want it because they liked what we did in that show, or they liked the movie or whatever. Big Den T will have the box.
That's Rocco went up there.
That's the werewolf!
Doing something.
But remember those dates, because those are the start of some of our new live events that we've been waiting to do. This.
Jeez.
So exciting. So the Atlas Cinemas.
He's like
Great Lakes Mall.
Yep.
Yeah, that'll be a good time.
Come see us.
We love interacting with our viewers and with just people we haven't met before. We just
What?
Dr. Midnight might show up for that place.
We might even get Dr. Midnight.
Dr. Midnight might show up there.
Good.
Dr. Midnight might get a chance to view this interview, so to make a cameo would be great. So we talked about the ones that came before us, right? The horror show hosts. We talked about the creativity, the skits. We talked about the live appearances. Let's finish up just with the topic of like the audience. I mean, you're touching on this a bit too, right? So this is a time you get face to face with those people who watch, people who are calling in. Tell us about the audience, who they are. When you're face to face with them, are you getting kind of that same interest that we had when we met the Ghoul? And
I would think so, because some of them, I would. Some are very excited to meet us, and they're loyal. They're very loyal.
Very loyal.
They contact us every week. They'll send us messages. They love the show, or thank you for the shout out. They'll send us stuff to the PO box, and I mean,
they come out to see us. They're smiling when they see us.
But they also seem to be, they're not just there just laugh around. These people seem like they want to discuss the old movies. They're interested in the old movies, and they pick our brains about the old movies.
It's like a throwback for them.
Yeah.
Because they remember the same stuff we remember.
Yeah.
Some of our viewers who are older than us, it brings them back to a time that they remember. So they enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, we actually had one of our fans. We went to the Ghilardi Fest was not held this year because of the pandemic, but Ron Garstick actually had a Ghilardi Fest like mini sale at his house, and one of our super fans, Ed Smola, he walked all the way like miles to get there just because he knew we were coming there, because he wanted to pick up some merchandise from us and, you know, see us or whatever like that. So I mean, that's dedication. The guy don't drive; he walked there to see us, you know.
Yeah.
And we appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think my wife actually gave him a ride home. I mean, that's what, you know, our fans mean so much to us that we kind of establish maybe too much of a relationship with them, because they actually mean something to us. We're not just like, we don't care. You know, I mean, we probably know most they're the ones that, you know, communicate with us. And then we're shocked when we find out that, you know, fans from other states and stuff are watching us, but not everybody just communicates. You know, there's people that are watching, but something goes on, there's a glitch or something like that, and all of a sudden these people you never heard of are contacting, you know, from other states and stuff like that. And you're like, wow, you know, you don't realize that the scope, not like when Chuck and John were on, stuff like that, but now it's like a worldwide scope, you know, and we have fans in other countries, you know, because of the Roku, you know, that we're on. So in other countries, people are watching us, and it's like, oh, mind-boggling, you know. It's like, wow, I'm thinking local, you know, but we're on worldwide. And keeping with that, you know, we have other friends that have show, Draken, Karita, Transylvania tonight, and like that, you know. So we're hooking in with a unique conglomeration of horror-hosted shows from across the world. There's really like a niche group, you know, and we all kind of hang together and cross-promote.
And there, I mean, there's tons and tons of horror-hosted shows out there, but what's cool about it is that they're all different. Everybody has their own niche, you know. There's costumed ones, they got the macabre theater kind of ones, they got the goofy costumes, goofy characters, you got the ones who don't wear nothing. You know, it's just
literally
there's so many different types to choose from that everything offers something different.
Yeah, so you can find something that you want. If you used to be a fan of the Prize movie with John Lanigan, well, maybe you could say we're kind of like a throwback to him, you know, because we're just regular guys talking whatever. If you're throwback to Chuck and John, look at them. They showed horror films. They didn't dress up, you know, so we're a throwback to all that. And sometimes we do dress up. Sometimes I'm wearing a crazy costume. Last week I was wearing one of my wrestling masks because we were showing a Super Argo movie. So, you know, whatever you want us to be, we're practically are, because we're all fans of all that, just like everybody else.
Yeah.
I remember sitting home watching the Prize movie, you know, when I was sick from school. I'm watching John Lanigan and all those movies they showed, you know. Maybe that's where my love for the older movies came in, because they used to show the old war movies
Westerns,
and the old musicals. I mean, stuff like that, you know. So,
you know, I want to. Rocco brought something to my attention, and it's like, you know, we've talked about a lot of things and we sort of skipped it, but we really owe a big favor to somebody. That when Triv was talking,
for having us on the show.
Yeah, well, no, when Triv was talking earlier, how we were off for a few years.
Oh yeah.
Or, you know, in that time, and then we came back. Well, when that time we came back, we needed that little push, or we needed that little bit of help. And a gentleman named Todd Quate, who was a big fan of the show.
Fan of the show.
You know, he crossed paths with Rich, and there was a whole chain of events that took place.
Right.
But, you know, Todd stepped up, and, you know, we needed something to get going, and Todd stepped up with a little bankroll, and he got us that pushing, you know. And, you know, Todd used to be on the show. He was sitting in the chair a lot, you know, and his responsibilities of life sort of...
He's still our executive producer.
Yeah, he sort of, you know, he sort of had to step away because of responsibilities of life. So, you know, have called him to a different path right now as opposed to being with us knuckleheads. But, you know, his you know, thought and everything and his aura is still there. And, you know, and we're sort of carrying on what he started a little bit, allowing us to get back on. You know,
and
so
part
we're
of
keeping
that
it rolling.
With Todd is a film lover. Todd is a film producer. He's a documentarian. He's just got a wonderful documentary about the Warren Commission out. What's that called, Rocco? You worked on.
Truth is our only client.
Yeah, Truth is Our Only Client. If you get a chance to see that.
Prime Video? Is it on Prime Video?
Check that out. It's all about the Warren Commission, the Kennedy assassination. A cool, unique look at that. Interview with some of the Warren Commission members and stuff. But he is a fantastic documentarian, a filmmaker, a film lover, former president of the Cleveland Film Society. Music, he was a runner. He was in line to maybe be the director of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So a real cool guy. He loves local filmmaking and independent films. And so that tied in with all the stuff that we did. And then, like you said, we weren't off the air. We were like doing internet shows or whatever in that like transition period. But then he's the one that stepped forward and said, you know, I love you guys. You know, what can I do to bring the show back? And we're like, well, we kind of need a studio and stuff like that. So he made it happen. And that's what brought us back to the forefront of where we are today. We owe all that to him. And now we got our feet back under us. We're, you know, got everything back going. Because of this transition, formerly we were a cable-owned show. So we were owned by the company. After they quit producing shows, we were kind of on our own. We wanted to continue it, you know.
Yeah.
So we kind of continued it on our own. And then Todd made it happen where we actually got the rights to our name and all that. It's all ours, and we're back in control of our own destiny and our own, you know, viewership, and, you know, basically steering our own ship. So it's cool. But thanks to Todd, you're right.
Thank you to Todd.
Big thank you to Todd.
Sort of get it at, and thanks Rocco for you know.
Yeah. So they're
bringing it up.
If you can check out that Truth is the Only Client, you won't, if you're a fan of history or of documentaries.
Prime Video. It is worth the watch. You're gonna, no matter what you've learned or heard or whatever about Kennedy and the assassination and everything that went on, you're gonna learn something you didn't know watching that movie.
Yeah, so check that out if you get a chance.
What we'll do is, following this interview, people are gonna watch it for. I mean, it's gonna be here to watch. You can go ahead and comment. We can go ahead and place that detail in there as well, so people can grab it as they're watching. We're talking about it; they'll see it, right? They can either click the link or at least go to Prime Video and watch it for themselves. Because I'll tell you what, one of the things that I've realized listening to you and interviewing creatives for 3.5 years is a lot of our stories are similar, and we're very dependent upon those who are around us, those who think like us, finding our tribe or our group that we can collaborate with and be inspired by, and that's what keeps us moving. Not just 1 or 2 years, but 1 or 2 or 3 decades, and so those people are important to us. But do we have any other comments there?
So Mouse has kept up a monologue the whole time with comments. Michael Reese is talking about
Mike Reese.
Cleveland broadcast history is extraordinarily rich.
Shout out to Mike Reese.
Dave Duarte asked a question. Paul Tylicki commented that The Thing is his favorite too.
Well, congratulations, Paul, on your DUI big win as well.
Sweet.
That doesn't come out very well, though, does it?
Yeah.
Congratulations, big DUI big win.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, what?
I know. As you were saying it, I was like, all right.
Sorry, Paul. If your employer's watching.
Seriously.
Dave Duarte asked if you have a studio audience at your shows.
No.
No.
Not right now.
We would love to, though.
Yeah.
We've always been kind of where our studios were always placed. It was almost kind of hard to do that, but maybe in the future when we actually get
we have had shows with a small audience when we had our former studio. So when we get our new studio, who knows?
The old studio where we all weaseled our way in.
Until then, when we do, we besides what we're doing at the Atlas and the 13th and the 27th of this month. There's some other things in the work where we might be able to do some kind of live show, and we'll be there and we'll have many of the same things. Years ago, a few years back, we actually at a place in Brook Park with a go-kart thing. We actually showed a movie there, and so we had people come in to visit us there at Boss Pro Kart.
Another great place.
We have some of that planned coming up. It's just we need this COVID thing to sort of settle down, clear out, so we
safety
can start.
First. Last thing we want is any of our fans to come out, get infected, get sick, or whatever. It's not worth it. We're here for you. If not on our show or whatever like that, call us, whatever. But we want safety first. So this clears up. We just got to do what we got to do. Wear masks. Yes, we normally wear masks when we're out and about. But at the Atlas Cinemas, if you come out there, we talked to Chris Baxter, general manager. That is very safe out there. They went through so many protocols and things they went through, so very safe out there. And I didn't know, because I don't know what's going on, but you can actually see movies right now. I thought, how do you see a movie? Just like normal. You go out there and buy tickets. It's just reduced capacity. you know, spacing and stuff like that. But get out and see some movies, and good movies are starting to come back now. So, but what fun was it though? All the old movies got a chance to show at the drive-ins. What a pickup for the drive-ins, right? Yeah. That all of a sudden they had a whole new audience and people appreciate it. I mean, I love drive-ins. So what a boom. Maybe it was a shot in the arm for the drive-ins. And they're showing all the old movies and you know, there's stuff coming up like that. Like the Monsterama is going to show in, PA is going to show in April the 2 nights of, you know, horror movies all night long. So maybe there's a shot in the arm for that too. But what fun. Well, be safe.
I'm looking too because I've been watching and I have it on. And Terry, the Mrs. G? No?
Lisa?
Lisa. She reminded us. She sent a little reminder or something, and we forgot our skits because we were talking about our skits. You can actually see a lot of our skits and podcasts on the YouTube channel. Yeah, I can't believe we forgot all that with everything we were talking.
We haven't talked about that before we started. That we're going to mention the podcast and all that stuff. Yeah, you can go to the on YouTube, the Midnight Movie Pods, and we have a whole list of podcasts that we did. We talk about a wide variety of subjects.
It's just us rambling.
And then we have some skitaculars that Camera Snore, Terry G put together. Some of our skitaculars of like 5 to 10 minutes worth of a bunch of our skits all
we'll put these links right here as well. We'll put the links to the midnightmovie.net.
Right, .net.
So you have a place, the Midnight Movie Facebook group, YouTube, right, as you said, the
Midnight Movie Pods.
And I wanted to also say on our Midnight Movie Pods page, Camera Snore again, Terry G, he put together 2 tremendous tribute videos. One of Dick Goddard, Cleveland legend, and another one of Superhost, after Superhost passed away.
Yeah.
So you can find both of those on the Midnight Movie Pods YouTube page.
Yeah.
And trust me, they were done so well. If you want to watch a good tribute videos, Dick Goddard and Superhost.
And we really used it back in the day. We were shooting every week, so we were really current. So current events, what was going on, you would actually see them. You know, we'd film on, we'd film like on a Wednesday, and it was showing on a, you know, Saturday or whatever. So we were really current. You know, times have changed. You know, so now, you know, and everybody's gotten busy, so we're not showing quite so. You know, we're ahead.
We're about a month.
Yeah, we're about a month ahead. So
we're ahead.
Well, I'll tell you what. You guys have carried the baton from those horror show hosts that were carried. There's not only for a couple years, but 23 years.
Yeah.
Is that right? Is that
over 23?
Over 23. Thank you for sharing your behind the scenes stories. Your
you can probably ramble all night.
Skits,
so sorry about that.
the skits, and so Rich, Triv, you know, of course we got Den T. We got Beth behind the camera, and we have Rocco, who is silently the brains behind a lot of what goes on here, and that's great, folks. If you share this video, we're gonna draw names. Everybody who shares next week, and if your name is drawn, we're gonna send you an autographed skits DVD. We've got a couple other things that we'll toss in there as well, and also, if you have questions and comments, just because you are not participating live does not mean that we're not going to see that. We'll see that throughout this week. And so feel free to comment on that whenever you watch this. We'll eventually upload this to YouTube as well. So folks, not this week, but after we give away stuff, and then we'll upload it to YouTube so folks can watch this in the future as well. So thank you guys for spending your Tuesday night with us.
Thank you.
A lot of fun.
Thank you, Rocco. Thank you, Beth, and thank you all for spending your time with us. And we will see you next week.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, guys.
Bye!